We live, brothers. We on, man. I'm talking about YouTube, live, all over the world. Boy, when y'all behind them bars, y'all didn't know God had work for y'all like this so fast and so quick. But man, y'all the ones for it, man. So we thank him as we open up in his name, in the name of Allah, Beneficent Muhammad, to whom all holy praises forever due. Further bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the last, greatest, and divine messenger, the exalted Christ, and that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is more than just a reminder, a warner, and a comforter amongst us, man. That man got to be, in this day and time, the modern day Messiah, make no mistake about it. But in their names, I greet you all, my dear brothers, in the greeting words of peace. In our original language, we say Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam,
sir. Salam, sir.
Brothers, on November the 17th, 2025, man, the minister got wind that we was doing a men's only meeting, and he said, pump the brakes in so many words. He said, you know, I want to be a part of that, and rightfully so. He said, I want to put my mind on it, and rightfully so. And I want it to be the centerpiece of Savior's Day.
Yes, sir.
With that being said, Savior's Day is not just one day, you know, because the Savior came to save. So we have to be in the business of saving every day, dear brothers. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we're grateful and happy. As the book say, many are called, but only few are chosen. Man, we pray that we be amongst those chosen who God himself is the only one that can do the choosing, brothers, that, you know, to make us worthy enough. Of course, we're not worthy, but worthy enough to strive to go out and help save others. So it's an awesome and beautiful thing. And man, we've been on the front line. The scripture talk about that foremost group. You know what I'm saying? No knocks to nobody else, but that foremost group, man, those are the ones, you know, that's just made for this, you know. I was talking to a couple of brothers the other day. I said, man, I admire all of those fireballs that teach from the rostrum. And of course, you know, I can teach from the rostrum as well and have done it. And, you know, I was teaching from the rostrum when, you know, Almighty God, Allah blessed us to bring, you know, Minister Nuri in. You know, he's a product, you know, of us teaching from the rostrum down in Indianapolis. You know, I'm rolling, dear brothers, and you know there's others. But you know, we're not gonna get off into that. But you know, it's just important. I'm reminded of when we brought Snoop Dogg to Savior's Day. You know, and he's still impacted and affected by that to this day. And I was talking to the minister one time about the building that we call the mosque, and he said, brother, that's not the mosque. He said, that's just the building. It may have been a cleaner's at one time. It may have been a bookstore at one time. It may have been a bank or a funeral home at one time. But he said, brother, the mosque is wherever you are. So I just want to let you brothers know that. I just want to let you know, when he said he wanted to see us being walking Qurans at Savior's Day, it wasn't just for that weekend, brother. He wants us to strive to be that every day, because every day is indeed Savior's Day. But we're going to go right on to the prison reform aspect of what we're dealing with tonight and making our communities a decent and safe place to live, because behind those walls, that's a community as well, or it has the potential of becoming a community. Just imagine if every person behind the prison walls began the process that we go through in the nation, with our studying, our self-improvements, our general orders, our action facts, our lessons. What would the prison turn into? It surely wouldn't be a prison anymore.
Absolutely not.
University. And it has the potential to do that.
Yes, sir.
The brothers and sisters, the brothers in the prison and the sisters too, united, come together on what they agree on, and we make this. We say we're gonna make this prison a self-improvement prison. Will everybody agree on that? We're not trying to change your religion, but can we agree on a self-improvement prison, and we all strive to make it be that? After a while, man, it's not a prison anymore.
Yes,
you know, it's a society. So now you build out from there, because just like nobody can tell what's, you know, truthfully in a mother's womb while the baby is growing inside the womb, you don't know what it's going to look like when it come out. That's the same way prison can be, with that truth, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding permeating throughout that place. You don't know what the outcome will be because it's never been seen before. But the closest example the world have seen are those who have gone in, like Brother Malcolm X, and like you brothers and others have gone in one way, and your lives have transformed. Whether you went in a Christian, whether you went in from a street organization, regardless of how you went in and what they said about you, the transformation of what you are now, man, you amongst the top of the top based on your transformation, dear brothers. So we wanted to say that everybody got somebody, or have had somebody, or hopefully won't have somebody who have served time, you know, for us being incarcerated. There's a lot of things that the people on the outside don't know, because once you leave and go, it's almost like, you know, the world is cut off from you and you're cut off from the world. So nobody knows the trials and tribulations, you know, that you go through on the other side of those walls, because the truth of the matter is that you're still human beings. You still got a mom, you still got a daddy, you somebody's loved one, man. You understand what I'm saying? And people need to understand and embrace the civility of our brothers and sisters behind those juvenile walls, or those jail walls, or those camp walls, or those prison walls. We have to understand we're still dealing with civility in our people. Some of it has to be developed more than others, but the bottom line, if we settle, as the minister said, on the best part of the earth, then that's what we'll end up bringing out in those that society has deemed as bad, while a lot of times the real bad people and the real crooks never get caught by man, but they will have to answer one day to the real judge, which is Almighty God, Allah himself. So brothers, tell us things that has happened that the people don't know about. You know, sometimes they do documentaries, you know, behind the music, or the untold stories, or the untold truth, or some of the horrific things that has happened, you know, at the hands of those that taxpayers pay their dollars still to make sure you all are cared for. I'm going to turn it over into you all hands so that you can just share some of the disasters, more than just the natural disasters, that actually happens behind prison and jail walls.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum to all the people that watch. My name is 73X. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Muhammad is the exalted Christ. And I bear witness that the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is the Messiah in our midst. And I thank you, brother, for having us on here to have this type of conversation where people will understand and see the reality of what's really going on in them prisons. Like last year, they just celebrated the 30 years of the anniversary of the Hurricane Katrina. And one part they forgot about Hurricane Katrina is what happened to the prisoners during the time of that flood. And one of the big things that happened in that prison was they was abandoned. The guards left. There was nobody there. They was locked in those cells on permanent lockdown, and they had water up to their chest. No air, no ventilation, and no food. And they was in there for a few days before they actually came to save them out of the prison. So these are things that people really don't know what happened with pandemics. When it comes to a pandemic, and while they was, you know, going over the Hurricane Katrina, that's one of the things that was left out. What happened to all them people y'all had confined during that time, during that big time of a flood and a hurricane. We talking about
Stay right
people
there.
just
Stay right there,
sir.
brother. So you mean to tell me water rising up in the prison,
Yes,
and
sir.
you got electrical outlets now?
Absolutely.
Or are you saying that the electricity had been shut off as well?
That's power. There's no power. The power went out.
No power.
No
Which
power.
means that the power would have came back on, everybody would have got electrocuted.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Continue.
Absolutely. So that's a critical point. There's no power, no running water. You in flood condition where water's up to your chest, no food, no air ventilation. And all the staff has abandoned you. You locked in a cell. There's no way out. Some of the prisons, they had to break down walls to get out of the cell. They had to do that. They had to break down the walls in that prison to get out through the back of the cell. Yep. So that's one instance we talking about dealing with that type of pandemic. Like the most simplest illness can easily turn into a pandemic in prison because how the prison conditions are.
Yes, sir.
Case in point, like a flu. One person can catch the flu and that whole cell house gets the flu. Because there's the sanitation, this is how their sanitation is. They have quotas that they have to make. So they get supplies to clean the cell house with. And so in order to make it last for that whole week, they water it down. So they put water in, they dilute the stuff with water and pass it out to each cell for the inmates to hopefully clean their cells. And so this doesn't work. The cells are not clean like they should be according to state regulation, OSHA law to make sure that people don't catch these type of illness. So you have multiple times people get sick in the whole prison gets sick, and then they have to lock down the prison because they're trying to isolate it.
And that's kind of looking back at this situation, dealing with the COVID-19, when during this time when they was isolating brothers, and it was so many brothers getting the virus COVID-19 that they was putting brothers in cells that didn't have COVID, and then at the same time when brothers was dying, they would just take the brother out and then just leave the brother in the cell, without sanitizing the cell, not informing the families, and that's another thing. That's when it's a pandemic, the family is the last to know, and when they don't sit up there and they cut off the phones, it may be like a whole week before you have a family member know. So the connection of being close to your family and your relatives, your friends, is important, because if you have a pandemic, the prisoners it's in crisis. You when it's a pandemic and it's times that electricity is cut off and it's extremely hot. So during this time, they not passing out fans. They pass out, yeah, they pass out ice, but probably once a day. But if the temperatures is raising up to 80 or 90 degrees, what a cup of ice gonna do? You see what I'm saying? So brothers had to take the initiative on their own survival to find, for instance, when I was locked up, I had to use cold towels. You see what I'm saying? To stay cool. But brothers was passing out. So these are situations, real situations, that if we're not careful, you won't know if a family member passed away, because of these conditions. So we have to be aware that these are serious, like the brother Aziz said. Brothers and sisters are human beings. And if you're not paying attention to the condition because you think whatever brother and sister may have done, then you have to realize that one day these brothers and sisters going to be out, but they have to make it out. And if you don't care about that, then that's a problem.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a situation where maybe an inmate passed away and the family didn't even know about it till later on?
Absolutely. That happens right now today. You know, we have it's sad, but we have brothers that's incarcerated right now. One just passed away because he found out that he had stage 4 cancer. Now they ain't let him know he had stage 1. They ain't let him know he had stage 2. But about time he found out he had cancer, it was stage 4. So the man didn't have nothing but months to live. You know, so these are situations. We have a brother right now, you know, that got cancer, kidney cancer. So it's times that if medical conditions in this pandemic, this crisis, if they not letting the prison know, then how you think the family gonna know? So when these brothers die, then the family don't know. You see what I'm saying? It happened numerous times.
The critical thing about that is that dealing with families not knowing, because a lot of families have lost the connection to their family member in prison. So when you don't have nobody, so if you don't have nobody checking on you, like if you don't, they keep a tab on your visits, your phone calls, and your mail. So they know if you get people that know about your well-being and what's going on with you in that prison because of those 3 things. So when they see that you don't have that much coming in, so it's more probable that you would be neglected and abused by those in authority, because you have no one to speak on your behalf, to know about your well-being. So a critical thing about that is that the medical neglect in prison, what they do, this is what they have done. So every year, they use everybody's birthday in prison that they get an annual physical. So they take your blood, choose your blood pressure, check your sugar, they check your weight, all those things for annual physical, like people out here in society do. They allegedly supposed to do this in prison too. They do it, but for some reason, people get these illnesses that goes not detected. Case in point, brother Kevin X. Smith, who was recently in the Final Call newspaper a couple months ago, our brother who's part of the study group in Danville right now. He got kidney disease. He got 3rd stage kidney disease, and he did not even know he had it, because he had went to the outside hospital for an unrelated thing. And when he went to the outside hospital, by the grace of God, the nurse, not knowing, he did not know, asked him, "Do you know you got 3rd stage kidney disease?" He's like, "No, I'm not aware." See, if that woman that was the doctor's practitioner at that time would not have told him when he went to the outside hospital, this brother would not even know that he had 3rd stage cancer. And so what we've been doing is we've been calling that prison, writing letters, trying to get him the necessary treatment he needs for 3rd stage cancer, because he still have not gotten treatment. And the prison that he in Danville, they don't even have a medical director. So he had filed emergency grievance, and they still have not responded to his medical care. And the doctor practitioner who's over that prison came from another state that he was put out of that prison system. And he came over to Illinois and got a job over here. And now he's the medical director in that facility. So this medical neglect is this is not just like a mistake. Medical apartheid is very big in prisons. And since the society don't have access to what be going on in prisons because the isolation, and because a lot of people have lost their compassion toward prisons because of crimes that people have committed, and the circumstance that caused them getting in prison, they figure that, they believe that they deserve to be there. They believe in retribution. So they don't think that they should be treated humanely like animals. Animals getting treated better than prison. And so it's very critical that our people know this, and that anybody they have any contact with that's incarcerated, they should have found a way to try to contact with them just with well-being check. That goes a long way in helping that person survive that environment.
Absolutely.
How does a family member out there, a mother who may not be very computer literate, or a grandmother, I will say, grandfather, what have you, take us through the steps that outside loved one should take to be able to check in on their loved one inmate who's incarcerated?
Yes, sir. I'll say this, that they have what you can go on website and look up, and it's an IDOC inmate search. And you can go on there and type in your family member's name, and you'll find his name, and click his name and where he's at, his information is all on that page. Also, you can find where the facility at. You can Google that facility and find the number for that facility and call there. And you can call the facility and ask about, I want a well-being check on my family, whoever it may be, a son, grandson, nephew, friend in the community, anybody that you know that's in prison. You can call that prison and say you want a well-being check, and you can send somebody to his cell to go see about him and get him on the phone. And they'll bring him to some place and put him on the phone so that you can talk to him. Another thing that you can do, they have now, now they have passed out these tablets now in prisons. They're getting money off prisoners. So they pass out these free tablets to prisoners so they can have ways to communicate to their family. So that now they got to get on another website to get the link to be able to email them back and forth. And this email link is called Core Links. And get on this Core Links, you can email him and he'll get it instantly once you set up your account. And type his name in, and it'll come up, and you accept him as a person that you want to email, and you can email him immediately, back and forth.
Yeah. Also, during this time, in my opinion, especially when we was in a lot of these prisons, I've been in, a lot of medium maxes, minimum joints, and the max prison, especially one that was recently closed down, Stateville. So the water we need to let the family know to support the brothers financially and sisters, because they need to store up food during the disaster. They need to store up water, hygienes, having the proper hygienes, because anytime that you're if you're waiting on the institution to give you anything, then you're gonna be in a sad state, because simple fact is the personal hygienes and just the quality water and having adequate food, that's very, you know, uh fundamental survival.
Yes, sir.
So that's the stuff that we need. So if you're gonna sit up there and say you're for your family, then don't neglect, the little things as far as financial wise. Go to JPay. Send them. Right. Go to JPay, send them something. You can easily put your family member name and send them something. Find out what institution, they IDOT number.
What is JPay? For the people that don't know, what is JPay? How does
JPay
work?
is an institution. It's an app, financial institution where you can go on the computer. You can look up, your family members, and you can send them. They're gonna charge a little bit, but you can send them money, and it'll get to them the next day. Sometimes the next day, and that's another avenue of sending money that they use. That like the brother Cedric said, they find a way to rob us one way or another. To send your people money, but that's another avenue. It's a financial app that you can go to and look up your family members name and put their
Check your
ideals.
connection. Check your connection, Brother Albert.
I'm here. It's good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Brother Aziz, can you hear me?
Aziz, you froze, Muhammad.
Yeah, he froze, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Like,
also dealing with deaths of inmates because they not reported to the public. There's no press conference from a chief administrator of the prison or from the governor's office that comes out and said this inmate has died. There's no press conference. Nobody knows that inmates have been died in prison. So this what has happened. I know a brother personally. His cellmate passed away, and he emailed me and had me to call the family member for them. And he had wrote that family member. He had to go on his celly property to find his family member's information to write to him to let him know that he had died in his sleep. Because they didn't even know. So then they had to call the prison to find out what the hell happened that their family member had died. This is not just a one incident. This happens on many of occasions that is not reported. So it's very critical that that people make a connect. This is why in the Million Man March, Honorable Farrakhan took on that idea that
I can't hear Brother Cedric.
can't hear? I can hear.
Y'all can hear me? Check 1, 2, 2.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Dealing with the Million Man March, Honorable Farrakhan had took on that principle of adopting a prison. That is a key thing that was brought out of the Million Man March, that everybody should adopt a prison. By adopting a prison, the things you should do when you adopt them, send them material to read for self-improvement. Write them letters to inspire him, to keep him or her filled with hope. Send them money that they can survive that environment. It's sad to say that you need some money. And I'm not saying that you got to put a whole lot of money in his books, but he needs something in order to survive that environment, because it's nutricide in prison as well. They kill it. That's one of the secret weapons, food, and they do not feed us in that prison.
Right.
It's soybean laced, and you get small portions. So
is it just me and you, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very critical. Muhammad, you want to say that?
I can't. I know you hear, but I can't hear. Go ahead.
So adopt a prison is
where we at now?
Yeah, I can't hear nobody now.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. Could you hear me?
Can y'all hear me?
Sir, I can hear you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I can hear
me.
Yes, sir. I can hear you, Brother Aziz.
Could you
I
hear
can't
me?
hear Brother Aziz though.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I hear you.
So continue to that point dealing with adopting a prison. 1 out of 3 black men in
I don't
America.
hear Brother Cedric. I see him speaking.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I can't hear Brother Cedric neither.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
I can hear you, Brother Albert, and I can hear the other brother.
Brother Razak, can you hear us?
Assalamu alaikum, family. Yes, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Alaikum salam, beloved.
Get it explained. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Brothers, y'all doing a wonderful job, man. Keep on going. Don't
Wait for
you
Brother
know?
Aziz to get back on, I guess.
Dealing,
Brother
dealing with
Razak.
Okay.
dealing with adopting a prisoner
Okay.
is critical because one of the three black
I can't
persons
hear Brother Cedric though.
Yeah, I know Brother Cedric was talking. I think he's still talking.
Yeah.
Could y'all hear me now?
Mm.
Could y'all hear me now? One out of three black men has either been incarcerated, probation, or court supervision. So that means every third black man you see in society, has some effect with some contact with the criminal justice system. So it's critical that we adopt prisoners to help nurture them, to help bring them back to the community, so they can have their place and role and make that community a decent, safe place to live.
Mm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Adopting prison is a real thing. It's a real thing, and it goes a long way, man, to help them
Gotcha.
grow and nourish. Yep. Send final calls. Send books.
Connection.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me, dear brothers?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Can hear you now.
Yes, sir.
Is Brother Rosette on?
Yes, sir. Here I am.
Okay, Brother Rosette, we're dealing, dear brother, with
I can't hear
some
Brother
of.
James now. I don't know what he's saying.
I did hear him. He came in and out.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Brother Rosette was talking. I was just sharing with Brother Rosette and Brother Michael what we're dealing with is some of the challenges that go on behind incarceration walls that the people just don't know about. Some of the things we take for granted, but to be honest with you, when a loved one goes, to jail or prison, it's not like that's something that family have prepared for. It's not like that's something it's not like that's something that family has gotten a game plan for, to be like, okay, well, if this happens, this is what we're gonna do. So it's like the first time, and it's trauma because you're gone. It's a shocker because you're gone. The process before you even get there, you hoping for the best. You don't know what type of time you're gonna have to serve, until that time comes down and everybody's so distraught. The inmate is distraught, the loved ones are distraught, the children are distraught. So of course, this is not something, like I said, that we sit around and we plan for, but something like this helps everybody to look at it more in a more real way. Yes, because sir. Trust me, people not just sitting around having these type of discussions and using their platform to address these type of issues, but it's people right now as we speak that need their families, they need their relatives, they need their homies, they need their neighbors or somebody that they was connected with before they got incarcerated. So we were talking about earlier, Minister Abdullah was like, he was in a prison one time and they brought ice and they put the ice in the toilet, Brother Michael, just to put the milk on the ice to keep the milk cold.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's something that you see daily.
We all did.
Adding with the milk, with the ice in the toilet and the running water just to keep your meat cold. So that was them things that survival that you learn as you continue to be in prison. But if you don't have a family member, or if you don't have some type of friend or spiritual advisor or connection, then you are drowned in prison. You know, you'll either survive or you'll drown. And thankful to brother student minister Abdullah coming and giving brothers hope and keeping us connected, because some things that we wasn't able to vent out, he was for us. You know, so connecting to the family members, you know, he did extra stuff, supporting, you know, court dates and stuff like that. That means something to a brother, seeing that they go to court, they got somebody there for them. You know, so
And it
when
means
you
something to their
go into
family
court
too.
and you come into connection with people that care for you, that means a lot, because it's a lot of brothers that committed suicide, you know, behind these walls that they don't speak about. And if you don't have that connection, that spiritual connection, that way of how to live and survive, then you'll drown. People don't talk about that. You know, everybody talk about the rough, the rough, tough way, but they don't talk about the ways that people get depressed, cutting themselves, you know, to cope, mental diseases, and they got dope lines from the beginning of the dope to the end, passing out medication because our brothers and sisters can't cope with the reality, you know?
Yes.
So that's something that we really have to pay attention to, because this stuff is real. You know, I had cellmates that was crushing up pills, you know, just to get away. You see what I'm saying? This
Yes,
stuff
sir.
is real. These mental diseases, this stuff is real, man. And we have to, if you're not connected, spiritually inclined, or you know, have support, you'll become a victim. And most definitely people won't care because you don't care, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing.
What does prison reform ministry look like moving forward now? What does prison reform ministry look like in 2026 moving forward?
And in my opinion, prison reform meaning that we're gonna move forward and connecting with the brothers and sisters, connecting with the family members, being there and showing them that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us a light, you know, to have us live and be successful and survive, you know. And if we can do it and share that same sentiment to them and guide them, whereas when they get out, that they have someone that cares
I
about them
can't hear
and
who.
show them the ways of how to survive in this hellish condition out here. You know, this world is not perfect out here too. You know, so to navigate, you know, the ways, the ins and outs, you know, with the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan giving us to be successful. That's what we want to do. We want to give them a guideline. Either you accept it or you don't, but we're gonna give you a rope to show, if you hold on to this rope, you got good potentials to succeed out here, you know. So we want to continue to be active. We want to come in the prisons and dialogue with the brothers, communicate with the brothers, also be active politically with those who coincide with us, you know, with our affairs. So that's something that we look for in 2026.
Brother Cedric.
Prison reform 2026. We want to be
I
right
can't
down to
hear.
modern. We want to be right down to the modern times of 2026. So I think the things that we can do, social media engagement. We also can those other organizations that's lobbying state laws and trying to do things to better the condition a little bit. Work with them, set up so we can go into prisons with them. Also, what I think what need to be done with also the prison reform, Muhammad's program. We got a program. Point number 5, That got to be a reality. Torchlight for America, what Minister Farrakhan said in the Torchlight America, what prison reform should be like. That needs to become reality. And so we got to set stages for that. He said he need 3 years to go in undeterred, to go into those prisons, to teach our brothers and to prepare them for a nation of their own. So we talking about nation building now. So the prison reform ministry, I think it's about we want to improve ourselves to make ourselves prepared to build nation. So them brothers in prison need to start self-improvement. Gotta be on the agenda to make themselves prepared to come out here for nation time, man. But that's what it is now. It's separation of death, like the minister said, man.
Brother Rosette, Brother Albert.
Yes, sir.
What does prison reform ministry look like in 2026 going forward?
To be active, being in the prisons, showing the brothers that we're here for them and their families, and giving them a path of when they get out, they have a home, to come to us and join the mosque, communicate, fellowship with us, with the brothers and sisters, continue to listen to the brothers that's giving them guidance, to the student minister Ishmael, to most definitely the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. These are things that we're going to be more active behind the walls. We're going to give out material that's needed. We're going to continue to build on a foundation. The big dream of student minister Abdullah is that when the brothers and sisters come home, we'll have a place for them. So that's something that we're going to try to build funds, community active, where we can get funds and for that, make that dream come true. So most definitely, we're going to stay active behind the walls with the brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir. How relevant is the National Prison Reform Minister Abdullah? How important, how relevant is he in this process that we're talking about right now?
Brother Cedric, want to go?
He the access to it, because prison and the streets, they got that link. And what our prison reform minister have done, he have taught and teaches those who established these street organizations today. So he have relationships with all those leaders before. And so to make that connection again, to remake that connection so that we can put that program in front of the brothers in the prisons and in the streets to align them. He's the access to that because he's a door to that. He's a door to it. So he gotta be out front so people can know and see and relate that this program is the only solution for us right now.
You just mentioned that Minister Abdullah must be out front.
Yes, sir.
How important is it for those who may want to get out in front of him not to do that, and to make sure that they respect the structure that was set up by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in putting him as the head of the National Prison Reform Ministry, and why?
Because I feel that the Messiah in our time appointed him for a reason. It's obvious he's seen something in him that can guide us, in the dark times into the light, that been there in the belly of the beast, can set a foundation for us when we get out, so this is that is to me is a block to process. If you're trying to get in front of somebody, then that means you're not with us. You trying to continue to cause division to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You see what I'm saying? So it's better to adhere to someone that been appointed to this position for a reason. You know, it's if the divine man in our time is telling us this is the man to be here, then it shouldn't be a doubt in our mind to not follow this man and follow his guidance. He's been in the belly of the beast. So who's best to know how to help us than somebody been there already? You see what I'm saying? So I say get behind the man and follow and study being someone that's trying to, you know, be bigger than what you is or don't know what you doing. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I say get with us and not against us. And then we can achieve more than failing.
Yes.
But we're gonna being behind and we're gonna win regardless because it's already been appointed.
Yes.
So why not get behind us and get behind him and help him?
Suppose a brother got ideas. Suppose a brother got things that come to him that he feel can help streamline the national prison reform ministry in terms of doing things a little quicker, doing things a little faster, based on the technology, being astute with the technology, and you do have people that's got gifts and talents and ideas and know how to help move the needle, if you will, to these brothers who may think, well, Minister Abdullah, he been around for a minute. He's not a spring chicken now. He was rocking in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. He hadn't been as active, hadn't been on the scene as much. What do you say to those brothers to help them, to help him, so that, as the scripture says, young men for war, older men for counsel, how can we close the gap so that everybody can continue to still work together?
I like in our lessons, we have the circle of the God. We got the 24 scientists, right? And it's not a pyramid, it's a circle.
Yes,
and
sir.
One stands out as judge, and all these scientists, they bring their ideas and thoughts and what they think can help further move the civilization. And so so that's what they got to do. We can circle a group of people. We can sit down. You share your ideas. This not a pyramid leadership. I believe that the brother Minister Abdul is a very humble brother, and if a brother got an idea and he's strong with his idea, he know what he's doing, he got the point, and he gonna back. So that's all we got to do. I think because there's a whole lot of different brothers with skills that got different organizations that's a part of different organizations, and using their talent to grow those organizations, but not growing their own national prison reform ministry. But you're a Muslim in the Nation of Islam. So that is very sad that you're a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, but all your talents going to build somebody's organization. The organization is just a pacification of the effects of injustice. Our prison reform ministry is not based on that. The Nation of Islam prison reform ministry is about to bring in the prisons. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring an end to the prison system, to the criminal, and we're trying to bring an end to the desire to be a criminal. So those ideas that you think they can push and make the prison reform ministry grow, because the harvest is ripe, the labors is few. So bring in your labor and talents and sit and share those ideas and thoughts, and we make a plan and go execute it, because we want to do it. It's all of us want to do it. It got to be done, because if we don't do, who's gonna do it?
Yes.
It's on us.
Cedric, how much time did you spend incarcerated, dear brother?
I spent 28 years and 6 months, 10,319 days. That's how long I was incarcerated. And I survived 5 pandemics while in prison. We had what you had. The first one we had was the norovirus in Stateville. The norovirus is a virus that affects your it's an infection that happens to your kidneys and your digestive system, and it's somebody just breathing, and it affects anybody that's bound. And so one person caught the norovirus, the whole prison got it. And so what they do, they isolate, they lock us down, no phone, no visit, so nobody in society know, and they just let it take its place. We had what you call a torture chamber, the heat pandemic. During that time was a time when people were dying from heat strokes.
I can't hear them either.
And those heat strokes that happened back in the early 2000s, late 90s, it was a big heat pandemic in the country. It affected the prison. It was like a torture chamber. You talking about the prison, they get hot. You talking about 100 degrees outside in the prison. 100 degrees is like 150 degrees. There's no central air in prison. Ain't no central air. There's no central air in prison. So when it's hot outside in that warehouse affecting the prison, that prison is like a sweltering. The walls start to sweat. Bars are hot. So there's nothing you can do in that prison. So you have brothers that died from heat strokes in the prison during that heat pandemic. Yeah, the prisoners, the new slumlords as well. They don't tell you about the living condition of prison. They the slumlords, man.
Sure.
So what they have done, like you have the Legionnaire's disease. You had lead in the water.
What it is.
So it's very sad that those things that we had to survive. You had a chickenpox outbreak in prison.
Yes. And
the medical neglect in prison, they let it take the course. They just isolate the prison, put it on lockdown. They see some water down, clean utensils, try to wipe the cells down and sweep the floor and mop the gallery, and they just let it take its place. So it's very sad, man, that we have to survive these type of living conditions.
Yes. Yes. How about malpractice? Is malpractice ever a concern or issue?
That is a major concern. Medical neglect and medical malpractice is a major concern. All they gonna give you is a Tylenol when you hurt. You sick, you got Tylenol. That's their name. Number one thing they'll give you is Tylenol. Like I said, the brother Kevin X, he had 3rd stage cancer. He didn't know he had. He didn't find out until he went to the outside hospital for unrelated thing for a physical, and a nurse from outside from USC hospital told him that he had 3rd stage kidney disease. So medical neglect and medical malpractice is a major thing. They had a class action lawsuit on Wexford. Wexford is this private insurer medical company that got numerous state contracts throughout the country so what they try to do is cut costs. So they way of cutting costs is they're not trying to give you no medical help. They trying to find the least cost-effective way to try to treat any ailment that a prisoner has. And so they have a class action lawsuit in Illinois and a few other states have a class action lawsuit on Wexford. And so Illinois supposed to bid another medical private insurer supposed to try to take over Illinois state prison, but they still use Wexford doctors and nurses. And they do not help. They're not helping prisoners at all. They have the medical neglect. A doctor come at least I think once a month to their prison to see anybody, and then they use doctor's assistants to check you. And that doctor's assistant, that's the one that say if you get any treatment. We just had a brother recently passed from stage 4 cancer. He didn't even know he had cancer. They waited till he got to stage 4 and told me he had cancer. That brother died. They had a janazah over 3 weeks ago. He died in prison, and a Muslim organization paid for his janazah. He was able to have a janazah out here. So it's medical neglect is major in prison.
For those who are watching and listening, saying, "Man, my God, I didn't know all of this, man. I didn't see it like this. It was kind of like out of sight, out of mind, for me." Man, where's the phone number? Where's the website? Where's the contact information for civilians or families of incarcerated or brothers and sisters around the nation, in the ranks, outside the ranks, that say, hey, I want to do my part. I want to help. I'm ready to, get 10 toes down, boots on the ground today, man. I didn't know that our people was going through this like this here. I want to use my resources. I want to use my finances. I want to use, my letter writing skills. I want to write inmates. I want to help keep their spirit uplifted based on what you all have shared with us today. What do we do at this point to address those people's concerns?
Man, like the minister said, 1995, adopt a prisoner.
I can't hear. I cannot hear.
And not only adopt a prisoner, adopt their family,
bro?
as well. Yes, I can hear you.
I can't hear. No.
Brother, me and Brother Cedric can hear each other. Can y'all hear me?
I can just hear you.
Okay. Well, Brother Cedric been rolling the whole time, but
I know. I can hear you, but I can't hear him.
Yeah. But somebody just keep saying I can't hear nobody. I can't. So you messing his flow up, huh? That's what Brother Michael keeps saying that. Okay, he rolling, Brother Michael. He got it too. We done pass him the ball. He got the ball. All we doing is setting screens and picks for him right now. Let him do his thing. Let him do his thing, Brother Michael. He got it. He got it. Go ahead, Brother Cedric.
Praise be to Allah, but that's a good thing. Now, like what Minister Abdullah said, we want to get a database established, and if we want this database to be established, that all the study groups throughout the country that get prison study group, all these study group coordinators, they get the names and numbers of all the brothers in they study groups, and we make a database. And this database can be given to our National Prison Reform Minister, and from this database, believers can adapt study group members in prison. That's the thing that we can do for believers. So FOI can adopt a brother in prison. MGT can adopt a sister in prison, because they very neglected the sisters in prison. And they the highest growth rate of prisons today. They need those MGT sisters to get involved with them. Brother Albert's wife. Yes, sir.
So, got a question for you. Let's just say there's a brother or sister in prison that don't want to join the Nation of Islam. They're comfortable with their Christianity or whatever religion they believe in. They don't want to relate to the Muslims in a religious type of way. Are the Muslims still willing to adopt this sister or this brother and help them out and encourage them as if they was a member of the nation?
Absolutely. We have to have common grounds, because we still for our brothers and sisters regardless. So no matter, long as you in righteousness and you're trying to grow
I don't know what's going on.
If you're trying to grow towards us and common ground and helping develop, we say come on with us. We're not neglecting you. We want to do something to common. We got a common enemy, that's against humanity. So if you want to help somebody that got a skill, you don't have to be in the nation. Long as you want to join towards righteousness to help the brothers and sisters behind the walls, man, come on. And whatever we can do to help your family member, your friend, we're for that too. Yes. So as long as we have a common goal, the prisons are in crisis. We need to come together instead of being divided. So this is something that we're willing to come together in churches, wherever we got to be at, that's where we'll be at. Because we have a common goal to help our brothers and sisters behind these walls.
Beautiful.
Point number 2, what the Muslims believe. We believe in justice for all, regardless creed, color, class. So we don't care about what creed, what color, what class. When we talk about a nation just ain't for one person. A nation involves everybody: Christian, Muslim, Hebrew, Anthognostics, all that. Disbeliever. Everybody's in the nation. We all belong to the nation. What the Honorable represents a universal teachers, brother. We ain't no religious gangbangers. What we trying to do, what we represent the whole. Honorable told Minister Farrakhan, when you playing, brother, you playing for the whole. You ain't planning just for you're not planning for just a group of Muslims. You planning for the whole 40 million of our people's salvation. We working for the whole 40 million of our people's salvation. That's what we want. We want to be free. Like I have my Hebrew brothers say in their chant. Who do we want? The brothers. How many? All of them. When? Man. Now.
Go ahead.
Now. We want all our people, bro. Let's get it, man.
Yeah. Man, that's beautiful. Even those words spoken by you and Brother Michael over the last 10 minutes, I know that the people really, really appreciate that, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't know that, because people are so used to socially gang banging and religious gang banging. They think that people think like they do. And they didn't realize that, man, you can reach out, for help from members of the nation, that see them as a part of the nation, because it really is just one nation. So man, we want to thank Brother Albert, who was cooking a little earlier, and man, Brother Michael, you came in and you just sprinkled us, and we appreciate that. Brother Rosette, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what happened with him, but we appreciate him coming on. And of course, Brother Cedric, we know you the high point man tonight. You understand what I'm saying? And man, we all applaud you, for that. And I'm sure that the brothers and sisters around the country, really appreciate this program tonight. And I got to say, we want to keep it going, because next Tuesday, we got to have some information for the people. We got to be able to give out the website. We got to be able to give out a phone number. We got to be able to give out some contact information now, because as you said, the scripture said the harvest is ripe.
Yes, sir.
But the laborers are few. So we don't want to drag our feet, because that makes people feel like they can justify moving out ahead of you when they feel like you're dragging your feet. So we want to take all excuses away and make sure that we right on down to the modern times with what it is that we're supposed to be doing. That time has come, dear brothers. That time has come. And be sure to encourage friends and family members to go to YouTube, at Men's Only Meeting, and just hit, it'd probably be my picture on there, and just touch that, and they'll be able to watch this program from tonight, tomorrow, and beyond. And let's just keep it going. We want to thank the minister for sure, and we want to encourage the National Prison Reform Minister Abdullah, and he has certainly put his time in. Make no mistake about that. And he's excited. We talked to him a little earlier today. He's on fire right now. He really is on fire. So those who thought that down, may mean out, not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? You're getting ready to see our brother roar again. And even the best from amongst us need supporters, need help, need people that's willing to, like I said, get 10 toes down, boots on the ground, and let's get it in.
Yes, sir.
So, brothers, unless y'all got something else on y'all heart that y'all want to, say in closing, I'm going to go ahead and close us on out. And like I said, you can share this with friends and family members. Moving forward, all they got to do is go to YouTube, put in at Men's Only Meeting, week 17, as we prepare for week 18. We've been rocking this thing ever since the minister came out on November 17th, and we intend to continue to rock it. And prison reform is a very, very important part of, we must make our communities a decent and safe place to live. So we're grateful for that, man. Thank you, brothers. May Allah continue to bless you and your families. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Like
Well,
salam.
alaikum salam, sir.
So.